أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Recently, the Islamic Center of North Carolina and some other Islamic centers have received a lot of positive publicity for turning out to be actually charitable in a TikToker's baby formula experiment. Today, I will tell you the secret of Islamic generosity. First of all, in Islam, God has 99 beautiful names which describe his divine attributes. One of God's beautiful name is Al-Karim, which means the most generous, the one who is continuously giving to his creation out of his generosity and limitless bounty. Generosity is one of the essential qualities that Islam wants to see in a Muslim. The Quran teaches Muslims in chapter 64, verse 16, وَمَن يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. And whoever is protected from the stinginess of his soul, it is those who will be the successful. Now, how do you overcome the selfishness of your soul? In chapter 3, verse 92, it says, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا مِنْ شَيْءٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ بِهِ عَلِيمٌ. You cannot achieve piety unless you spend from what you love. And God knows whatever you spend. What that means is, let's say you're a millionaire and you give only $100 to charity, which is like pennies for you. That is not enough to break your stinginess and attachment with money. Or if you just give your old clothes to charity that you were going to throw away anyway, that's not really piety. Sure, you will get some reward for it from God, but in God's eyes, righteousness starts when you donate stuff that you love and value yourself, and when there is an element of sacrifice in it. So you have to come out of your comfort zone, and this is how you protect yourself from the selfishness of your soul. One characteristic of money is that the more money you accumulate, the more you love it, and that's why you see that in general, the poor people are more charitable than the rich, because the more money the rich make, the more they become obsessed with it, and the more tightly they want to hold on to it. Islam wants to break that love and obsession of money through generosity that takes you out of your comfort zone. In the bigger picture, Islam wants fair distribution of money in the society. Not necessarily even, but fair. According to chapter 59, verse 7, money should flow throughout society and should not accumulate and stagnate in the hands of a few rich. Islam is not against someone becoming rich, but it cannot be through exploitation. Therefore, under Sharia law, the top 1% of the rich and powerful would not be able to exploit the rest of the 99% of the human population. And that is one reason why the rich and powerful always try to turn masses away from Islam through fear-mongering and propaganda of the media that they control. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his blessed family and companions were extremely generous. One time, a traveler came in Medina in the nighttime, and he did not have a place to stay. The Prophet, peace be upon him, asked his companions, who will host him for the night? One companion came forward and took him home. Then he asked his wife, do we have enough food? She said food was barely enough for one person. So he said, bring the food, I will sit with the guest, and when we are about to eat, you put out the candlelight. So in the dark, we will pretend as if we are also eating so that the guest can eat without feeling embarrassed. So they slept hungry with their children while their guest was fed. Another example comes to mind is the blessed daughter of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Fatima, and her husband Imam Ali, may Allah be pleased with them. One day they fasted, and when they were about to break their fast in the evening, a beggar called at the door. I'm hungry and I need food. So they gave their food to the beggar and slept hungry. The next day they fasted again, and in the evening an orphan called out for food. So they gave their food to the orphan. And then the third day they gave their food to a prisoner who was calling for food. They became extremely weak for not eating for 3 days in a row. The Prophet, peace be upon him, was informed, and he sent food for them. This act was so significant that the verses of Quran were revealed praising them for their generosity. I also came across this saying of Jesus, peace be upon him, in Matthew 6:19-23. Do not store up for yourself treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourself treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. I am seriously dumbstruck on how beautifully he explained the importance of generosity. Remember that Jesus is also a prophet in Islam, and as Muslims, we love Jesus, peace be upon him, and arguably follow his teachings better than Christians. So practicing Muslims will always be generous and always look up to these examples. Our predecessors set the bar so high that it always puts us to shame that we are not being generous enough no matter how much we try. The Islamic centers did not do anything out of their way when they offered the baby formula to a mother while the hungry baby was supposedly crying in the background. They just acted as you would expect a Muslim to act. And all the publicity they got just shows you the sad state of society that we live in, where greed and selfishness has broken the roof to the point that even a routine act of charity is cherished so much and generates so much publicity. Thank you so much.